It's Wednesday, April 16th.
It might seem funny that we want to change the moment of a national debate.
Only in Canada, tonight's French language debate is starting 2 hours earlier than scheduled to make way for a pretty important hockey game.
We just shouted, "Oh, come and see! A car crushed the students from the north side to the south side." Then I feel very scared.
Targeted attack. Students at Toronto Metropolitan University describe the moments a driver hit 4 people in what police believe is an intentional hit and run.
It's important to recognize who this is for as a program. This program is not for the vast majority of Albertans who suffer from addiction.
Divisive legislation. Alberta introducing its promise legislation allowing for people to be forced into addiction treatment facilities.
You want to around? Hey, you want to around? You want to go? You want to go? Oh, yeah.
So much for golf etiquette. Look at this. A fight breaks out between 2 groups at a BC golf course. The RCMP is now investigating. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to your morning, everybody. I think I'm Lindsey Deluce.
And I'm Teddy Wilson. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm McEwen. So I know. So I've had like laryngitis since Saturday.
You had?
No, guys, I sound so much better than I did. I could only make sounds.
It just sounds,
on Monday.
Yeah. But you're not in pain. It's just the voice.
I just lost my voice.
Yeah, a lot of yelling in St. John, New Brunswick when you were out there. A lot of partying.
So much partying. I know. It's bizarre. This actually happened to me once last year as well. But I was on vacation at the time, like scheduled vacation. But I completely lost my voice. Never in my life has this happened to me. But a lot of people are saying, and they were saying last year as well, there is a virus going around where it attacks your vocal cords. I'm sure I'm not contagious. But I feel fine.
And you sound cool. You sound really cool.
Do I?
Yeah.
You're going to have to put up with this all day.
There you go.
Right. It's great to have you back.
Yeah.
St. John looked great.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
What a great city. I'd never been there before, and it was really great.
Yeah, your coverage from there was great, right in front of the river with the reversing falls. It really brought us there. It's such a great city.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello to everyone in St. John this morning.
Well, welcome back. A lot of monologues for you today, just because we know
Yeah,
your
I was
voice
hoping so.
yeah.
I prefer soliloquy with a single light.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll get to those later. But first, let's turn to some of the top news stories we're following for you today. Sports or politics? Folks won't need to choose now that tonight's French language debate is happening earlier.
Hockey is our national sport. So it was pretty easy as a solution to just change the hour of the debate.
So the start time of the debate has been moved from 8 p.m. Eastern to 6 p.m. Eastern. Bloc leader Yves-François Blanchet and NDP leader Jagmeet Singh asked for the change to avoid overlapping with tonight's big game in Montreal. And it's a make-or-break game for the Habs as they try to clinch a playoff spot. The 2011 French leaders debate was also moved to avoid a Habs playoff game. As for what the leaders will debate about tonight, topics include climate, public safety, and of course, Canada's relationship with the United States. And to the U.S. now, the White House says President Donald Trump has not changed his mind about making Canada the 51st state.
The president still maintains his position on Canada. The United States has been subsidizing Canada's national defense, and he believes that Canadians would benefit greatly from becoming the 51st state.
Okay, talk of annexing Canada from President Trump had quieted down after his first conversation with Mark Carney last month. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, seen there, says that it could be because the president has not been asked about Canada. At the time, she was responding to a question suggesting there was a shift in tone with regard to Canada. And here at home, Liberal leader Mark Carney says if elected, his government would offer a $15,000 training benefit for mid-career workers in some sectors.
Manufacturing, construction, tech, and artificial intelligence. This approach will support Canadians in the middle of their careers.
Carney making the announcement just outside of Montreal on Tuesday. He says the Liberal government would work with employers to support retention and upskilling within their companies.
We're going to pass the Stop Scamming Seniors Act, a common-sense law that forces banks and telecom companies to deploy state-of-the-art technology to catch scams and stop them before they happen.
Also in Montreal, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre vowed to crack down on scams targeting seniors if his party forms government. Poilievre says they would force banks to flag suspicious activities in real time and put a 24-hour hold on suspicious transactions made by seniors.
That would have raised $19 billion over 5 years, a measure that we could have used that revenue to invest in people.
And the NDP had a focus on money as well. Leader Jagmeet Singh promising to bring back an increase to the capital gains inclusion rate that came in under the Trudeau government. He's accusing the Liberals of flip-flopping on the policy that Liberal leader Mark Carney has promised to now do away with if elected. Singh is also promising to release a costed platform as soon as possible. To some other news now, Honda Canada is denying a report suggesting the automaker may move production out of Canada to the U.S.
The number one selling car in Canada is a Honda. It has been for about 40 years.
A report coming out of Japan said Honda was considering shifting more production to the United States in response to President Trump's auto tariffs. In a statement, though, Honda Canada says, quote, "Our Canadian manufacturing facility in Alliston, Ontario, will operate at full capacity for the foreseeable future, and no changes are being considered at this time." Honda has been making cars in Canada since 1986. And this all comes as Ottawa is bringing some auto tariff relief for car makers who build vehicles in our country. Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne announced automakers can import some U.S.-made vehicles without being hit by counter tariffs. The vehicles have to be CUSMA compliant, and the number of cars that can enter tariff-free drops if a company cuts production in Canada. Toronto police are looking for a suspect in what they believe was a targeted hit and run on campus at Toronto Metropolitan University.
I was studying in this building, but suddenly I heard a sound like boom. Yeah. It was very similar to like the car accelerates.
So the incident happened on a pedestrians-only walkway around 2 p.m. Tuesday. When police arrived, they found 4 people with reported injuries. 2 were taken to hospital. 1 person has serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police are looking for a green sedan with a smashed windshield. They also don't believe the car was stolen. Police believe the driver knew one of the victims and say none of them were students or staff at TMU. Police are now reviewing security footage, trying to track down the suspect and the car. Alberta's government is introducing promised legislation to allow for people to be forced into addiction treatment facilities.
We believe that we as a community shouldn't be watching people slowly kill themselves on the street.
Under the legislation, those using substances and deemed a risk to themselves or others can be forced into a treatment facility if a family member, medical professional, or police officer applies on their behalf. Once admitted, the patient would have up to 72 hours to be assessed. Their care process would be decided by a commission made up of lawyers, doctors, and the public. They'd then spend up to 3 months in a secure facility or 6 months in a community-based one. This legislation has been divisive, with critics saying forced treatment could lead to more harm, while legal experts warn it could lead to potential human rights violations. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says the new act adheres to both charter and provincial laws. The RCMP has called a fight that broke out at a British Columbia golf course nothing short of unacceptable. So the fight happened Monday night at a golf course in West Kelowna. It starts with some shoving, cursing, and club pointing, as you see there, but then it escalates with 2 men exchanging punches. As for the cause, audio from the video suggests one group may have been playing too slow for the other. The RCMP says everyone involved has been identified and is investigating. All right, the cherry blossoms in Toronto are almost ready for their triumphant return. So if you're hoping to check out the blossoms in the city's West End, you only have to wait just a little longer. The blossoms in High Park are still in the very first stage of the bloom development process. The High Park Nature Centre has launched its Cherry Blossom Watch for the season. Peak bloom typically happens between late April and early May. Last year, though, it started happening around April 22nd.